Hello, my name is Tom Krickenberger. I've been homeless in my life, and let me tell you that was not fun. It was a miserable experience. I feel blessed by the grace of God that I escaped that experience. I teach now for a program sponsored by Hope Worldwide in combination with the Volunteers of America, teaching homeless people valuable job skills. I teach computer drafting. Many of my students are homeless. Many people who come in our facility are homeless. I go through the section of Denver where the homeless are. There's homeless shelters all the time. I mean, this is a very near and dear subject to me. What I want to talk about is a problem. There are way too many homeless people in this country and not enough places for them. There are not enough shelters. Some places don't have shelters. Some of the shelters don't have enough beds. Some of the shelters are not safe. They're not sanitary. There are bed bugs all over. There's diseases running around. A lot of people just end up taking their chances on the streets. You see them. We all see them. Did you know that it's against the law in most cities to be homeless? To me, that is a problem. I'd like to take a look at this and offer a solution. Let's take a look at the problem. The problem. As we all know, there are far too many homeless people in this country. Personally, I consider it a disgrace. You judge a nation not by how it treats its best and its richest people, but by how it treats its poorest and the least of its people. Far too many homeless people. There are not enough shelters. Many places, and we'll be taking a look at some graphics here. Many of the shelters are having to close because of budgetary problems. They're closing, they're losing bed space. Many of the shelters are not safe, they're not sanitary. It ends up people having to live out on the streets. If they're lucky, they can live in their own cars. But, and here's the problem, it is against the law. A person becomes a criminal at that point, being homeless. They're thrown into the system and they're fined money that they don't have being homeless. To me, that is a real problem. Now this next graphic I don't even think is necessary. We're all aware of the fact that there are far too many homeless people. But just as a quick demonstration, let's take a quick look at a little graphic right here. What we're looking at here is a graph showing the number of homeless families in New York City, all the way from 1983 to 2009. You notice that where we're at right now is the highest it's ever been. Look at the numbers on the left. You see that in New York City alone, there are over 10,000 families. These are not individuals, these are families that are homeless. I think we're beginning to see the depth of the problem. Now this problem is not confined to New York City. Just briefly browsing on the internet, I found so many examples. I just picked out 3. This will show you a little bit about the depth of the problem. Here we see that in Boston, they're planning to eliminate 20% of the beds at their largest homeless shelter. In Florida, just a brief thing, in Hollywood, Florida, 80 of the residents are going to have to find a new home because there are violations with the fire code because of overcrowding. Same thing in South Carolina. Here's a headline, South Carolina homeless shelters overcrowding. It's not just in one place, it's in every place. Now, besides not having enough homeless shelters available and enough beds available, what about the ones that do exist? Many of them are unsafe. They're filthy, they're cockroach-ridden, they have bed bugs in them. A lot of people don't feel comfortable, or personally, they don't feel safe staying there. Even if they could, they're reduced to living on the streets. To illustrate this, let's take one more look at another little graphic here. Now let's look at these. Here I have something from the Washington Post. This is just from last year. Conditions in an Arlington County homeless shelter are so unsafe that the group running it plans to tell officials they will stop operating it next month. You come down here, there's a quote saying, "We're worried someone will get killed or injured here." Injured or killed here. Here's another one then from just this last month, talking in Louisville about a homeless shelter. You come down here to the bottom, it says they're not even treated like human beings. That's not right. You can see why somebody would not want to stay there. Well, now you can see how there are too many homeless people, not enough places for them, not enough safe places for them. Why many people would be on the streets. If they have a car, of course they would want to sleep in their own car. But it's against the law. This is a problem. We're going to take a look now at some of the efforts people have been making across the country to try and address this, that it should not be against the law to be homeless. Consider the following. Now there are many people trying to address this problem. What I'm looking at here and showing you all here is a joint response from the National Law Center on Homelessness and Poverty and the National Coalition for the Homelessness released a report called Homes Not Handcuffs. They're tracking a growing trend in U.S. cities, the criminalization of the homeless. That's wrong. We also have in the report saying that these practices that criminalize homelessness do nothing to address the underlying causes of homelessness. Instead, they drastically exacerbate the problem. I can speak from experience and tell you that I have friends and students who have been busted for being homeless, and they charge them, in this city at least, $100. They don't have $100. This is wrong. Now, when you think of something being criminal, or you think of criminals, let me ask you, what do you think of the following? Is this a criminal? Is this a criminal? How about this poor soul? Right, that's a real criminal there. Oh yeah, that guy must be a criminal for what he's doing, huh? Poor guy. Yep, a whole bunch of criminals, aren't they? What's wrong with all these pictures? Yeah, you can almost see the worry in that poor lady's face. Yeah, but if she tries sleeping in that car tonight, then she becomes a criminal and they'll haul her down and take money she doesn't even have. That's wrong. Well, I think we've taken a look at the problem now. There's too many homeless people, not places for them. Some people have no choice but to live on the streets, sleep in their cars. Why should that be against the law? Why should the police be hassling them? And why should they end up having to give money that they don't have because they're homeless? I'm also offering now, I hope, a solution. You can join me in the solution. There are a few specific things that we can do. Join me, please. Together, we can work to change the laws that make it a crime to be homeless. Specifically, lobby the city council, lobby the mayor, write letters to the media, ask your friends and family, urge them to join in your lobbying. Let people know about this problem. If they've never gone through it, they don't know. And God forbid that they ever will go through it, they will know. Let's hope that doesn't happen. So there we have it. There are laws making it a crime to be homeless. I'm asking you to join me to help change these laws. I hope that this has maybe opened some eyes, and that maybe you will help me in this cause. Thank you for your time. Godspeed.